Yesterday, I watched a movie. And I watched Interstellar yesterday. And I'm going to try to talk about this with the glasses on. But this is very difficult. Alright, so I watched Interstellar yesterday. It's a film. It's a filmographic experience. There's so much that I could say about this movie. It's another Christopher Nolan. I'm in the Nolan verse. I'm experimenting. I watched Inception earlier this week, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch Interstellar. It's a good one. Let's check it out. So I checked it out, and I did copious amounts of magical fungi. A lot, actually. I did a pretty decent amount. Magical fungi. Watched this movie. Now, I just want to say, this is a 3-hour movie. Right? It's a long one. It's a long movie. And so, it encompasses, the majority of a mushroom experience. So, I just want to say, I don't know if the movie was designed to be at the peak of the mushroom experience for it to be when it starts getting good. But I remember okay, so the movie, I don't know, it's a good movie. I think this is a really, really good movie. I like it a lot. So I'm watching this, the first 40 minutes is the setup, it's the classic. You get to know about the world. They're on an apocalypse, that's happening in real time, but it's slow. There's a dust bowl, it's they're all getting fucking dusted up. We live in the population of the earth is collapsing into nothing, right? It's it's classic. It's classic, we all love that kind of shit. And then so we got Matthew McConaughey, who's got kids in this movie. He has children. And one of those kids is a ghost in a room. It's oh shit, there's a ghost. So I'm thinking watching this movie, there's a ghost in this movie? There's a ghost in this movie? Okay, there's a ghost. Turns out, by the way, spoiler alert, the ghost was Matthew McConaughey, right? Okay. Whoa, right? Okay, so hear me out. So Matthew McConaughey has as a kid, okay? And then, while he's interacting with his kid, he is also a ghost. How does that make any sense? Well, hear me out. I don't know why people in the chat are saying that this movie gets bad reviews. I think this movie is a masterpiece. I think this movie is excellent. The music is great. It's phenomenal. I mean, the music is so good. The effects are phenomenal. The story is phenomenal. The ending is just wow. This is an excellent movie. I mean, I'm willing to say this is another masterpiece. But I'm a Nolan fan. Consider me a Nolan fan. So anyway, so Matthew McConaughey, by the way, who's the ghost? Spoiler alert. I really hope I didn't spoil the movie for anyone who's not seen it, by the way, because this is a masterpiece. You have to watch this fucking movie. I love it. It's a bit of a stretch? No way. Fuck you, Sal. Got horrible reviews. Anyone that rates this as a horrible review they're stupid. I mean, they're just fucking dumb. Right, so anyway, so he goes to the secret NASA compound. By the way, okay, let's talk. My favorite part in the intro, right, the pre-NASA part. My favorite part is when Matthew McConaughey gets called to school, right? His kids are fucking around at school. And he's like, oh, what did my daughter do who's 10 years old? Apparently in this universe of the movie, right, the official textbooks in the universe of the movie say that the Apollo moon landings were fake. And apparently, Murphy, the child of Matthew McConaughey, beat the shit out of a kid for saying that because she believes that they're real. I just want to say, that's great. That's great. That's... Okay, so you're telling me this 10-year-old, so badass, she's following in the footsteps of Buzz Aldrin. You remember that video where Buzz Aldrin, punches some guy out who claimed that the moon landing was fake? Yeah, that was great. So she got suspended, and then I love that scene where Matthew McConaughey is like just goes back in the car and was like, I got you suspended from school, and then they go like to like a baseball game and have a good time. That's great. I love that part. Anyway, I like the first part of the movie is really good because it's like it shows you the characters, you know, they meet each other, and it's like, you know, and it's like they have a good rapport, and it's like, you know, I like the first part. It's a little weird, like Matthew McConaughey like goes to the NASA thing, and then he's like, okay, they want me to pilot the ship, and then he leaves his kids. You don't, you know, you might, why go right now? Like wait a little bit, you know, like I don't know, have like a 3-day weekend with your child and your other child and your father-in-law. Have like a fucking party. But no, like he immediately like leaves for space immediately. That's like, that part didn't really make too much sense to me, right? Like why did he leave Murphy while Murphy is crying? Why didn't you just like, oh, let's do a 3-day weekend, let's fucking get some drugs and let's fucking do some, you know, let's have a good time. Like, but no, he just leaves, he goes to space, you know. Okay, all right, that's fine. But anyway, so I love the space part, right? Like the space part obviously, you know, is pretty fucking good. So, okay, so he goes to NASA, which is, by the way, a secret organization now. It's like a secret society, which is cool. I'm into that part. And then they're like, all right, so we sent some other motherfuckers into space. And they're looking for planets. Right? And so they're going to tell us what planets are cool. And you're going to go in and bring a bunch of, like, fucking embryos. You know what I mean? And we're going to bring those embryos and make a new colony on a new planet. All right. That's cool. But also, you know, they do this whole thing where it's like plan A and plan B. Like plan A is to try to bring all the humans to one of these planets too on Earth. Because Earth is... I don't know why they don't just try to save Earth or like build a dome or like tunnel underground. I don't know, whatever. But okay, they're going to go for another planet. I'm in. So how are they going to get to other planets, right? Oh, well, there's a wormhole. Okay, there's a wormhole, right? Like it follows in the kind of lineage of 2001, right? Where it's like, okay, so there's some form of an alien or something, and they're giving us like a little bit of like a head start or like a, you know, go here, you know, and then we go and then we find the other planets. Okay. So I just want to say like when they are going into space, like everything before the wormhole, like, okay, so keep in mind, I'm watching this movie on shrooms. Okay. And so I'm watching this movie on shrooms, and it's a 3-hour movie. So if you ever done shrooms before, I would say that shrooms are about like a 3 to 4 hour experience on average. You know, unless you're doing a fuckload, then sometimes it'll last like 6 to 10 hours. But, you know, I was not doing a fuckload. I was just doing a good amount. Anyway, so about an hour in, right, like when they're launching into space and they're going throughout space, there's a lot of like sound design in this movie where it's like they simulate, there's like no sound on the screen because they're in space, right? So the camera's in space. 2001 does that a lot too. Anyway, so like that was freaking me the fuck out. That was freaking me the fuck out. Because it would go from like the really heavy music, the like loud music, and then like they're all talking, and then it cuts to nothing, and it was freaking me the fuck out. I had that same experience watching 2001 on shrooms. And so anyway, I just wanted to comment on that. So they go into the wormhole. It's by Saturn or something. They're in the wormhole. That part's cool, right? When you're looking at all the effects of the space-time and all that shit. That's awesome. I love the effects in this movie. They're really good. They're really fucking good. I didn't think the music was too loud to Synquel. This motherfucker in the chat. Oh, the music's too loud. The music's the best part of the fucking movie. Like, if this were a silent film and it was just the fucking soundtrack, but like, oh, the music is so good. Anyway, so they get out on the other side of this wormhole, and then they pick up like data beacons from the first team that was like sent to navigate to look at all these worlds. And then they go to the water world. Yo, man, I love the water world part. That might be like my favorite of the planets, right? Like, you got Matt Damon's like cringe world, but the water world is great. So they go to the water world, but before they go there, they realize that the relative time dilation or whatever. Matthew McConaughey wants to save his kids, right? He is not aware that like the fucking like, embryo bullshit, right? Like he's not aware that like he doesn't give a fuck about the embryos. He wants to go back and save his kids, right? So like he's like very concerned about the black hole. Like there's a black hole there too, by the way. There's like 2 black holes or some shit. And he's very concerned that like that's causing time dilation that's going to make it so that everyone on Earth is going to like age up and die. But, you got to check out this water world. You got to see what's going on. So they go to the water world. When the fucking tsunami, when they show the tsunami in the background, like that shit. Again, I'm watching this movie. That's like what, like 90 minutes into the movie or something, right? And like that's where I'm starting to like, I'm starting to get like some very interesting visuals from my experience. And then when they show the tsunami like coming in at the fucking, and they're all running into the spaceship or whatever to get out, and the tsunami is about to like take over the whole fucking thing. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Anyway, so the person that landed there before, whatever, got destroyed, I guess, in a tsunami. And like all of her data was pointless. They gained nothing, and they wasted like 23 years or something in Earth time, and they accomplished nothing. So they go to the water world. They get fucked up by a tsunami. One of the space crew dies, and they got nothing. It's like, oh, it's a dud. Whoops. And okay, so I just want to say that part, I love it. I love because it's like the whole like first half of the movie is like building up to this wormhole. And as soon as they get on the other side of the wormhole, the first mission that they do is a spectacular flop. I think that it's a great setup. I really think it is. Like, okay, so it's already like we aged 23 years, right? Like, so like my kids are already grown up. That fucking, that scene when he gets back into the ship after the water world, right? And the guy who stayed behind on the spaceship was like, it's been 23 fucking years, bro. Like it's over. It's done. You fucked up. But anyway, when they get back on the fucking ship and Matthew McConaughey is looking at all of the videos, right? Because, they could receive messages apparently. Right? And because of time dilation on Earth, it's like 23 years, right? So he's watching the videos of his kids growing up. Because, like, in the Earth world, his, like, kid is, his son is, like, sending a message once every couple years or whatever. And he is probably under the impression that that's not doing anything, but it's just cathartic for him to blog, right? Man, I'm not going to lie to you. I was crying. I was losing my shit when Matthew McConaughey was watching his kids age up. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I was losing my shit. It's just, that's the best scene of the movie, I think. So that shit's great. That was amazing. Right, so then they're like, okay. So then they're like, all right, so let's go check out another world. But wait a second, we only have enough gasoline or whatever, fuel, right, to go check out one of the 2 nearest worlds. So then, this leads into like, so they hype up this guy named Mr. Man, aka Matt Damon. And so he's like the leader of the first mission to scout out all these planets or whatever to find whichever. So then they go to Matt Damon's world. And I love one of my favorite parts about this part of the movie is when they go to Matt Damon's little cryo chamber and wake him up, and he just starts crying. Like he wakes up and he starts crying. It's too good, right? Like, cause imagine you're in this guy's shoes, right? You land on some shit fuck planet, right? You're out of food. Your only option is to go to sleep, and that when you go to sleep, there's like a 99% chance that you're never going to wake up, that you're dying. So you're basically killing yourself. Right? Like, so when you're going to sleep and you're Matt Damon, you realize you're on a shit fuck planet, you got fucked, too bad. You go to sleep, and there's a 99% chance you're not going to wake up. So then you wake up and you're like, whoa, and then there's another person, he starts crying. It's a great scene. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was crying a lot during this movie. It's very emotional. I'm just saying. I'm just being honest with y'all. And the music is, it's just, the music is incredible. Like, it's too good. It's too good. Anyway, so then they're on, like, so Dr. Man or whatever the fuck, is like, okay, check out this planet. There's like I know this planet looks like shit. It looks like a fucking barren ice wasteland. But hear me out. There's this hole over there, and it's got some cool stuff in it, and we'll live in the hole. Yeah, we're gonna bring humanity to a fucking hole. Okay, alright, okay. You know, I'm in. So Matt Damon brings Matthew McConaughey to the hole and tries to talk to him a little bit about this and that and whatever. Like, Matthew McConaughey's in his own world. He's trying to figure out a way to get back to his kids, right? Who are now, like, as old as he is. Anyway, so then Matt Damon is like, okay, I'm going to take your radio out of your helmet, and then I'm going to fucking kill you. So that's crazy! Matt Damon's insane! So then we find out that, like, you know, so the original, like, mission, the Matt Damon mission, was they're supposed to, like, all individually go to, like, different worlds to check, right? But there's only enough fuel or resources or whatever, because resources are in such short supply on Earth or whatever. There's only enough resources to, like, do a one-way trip, right? And then you look at the world you land on, and then you press a button that says this world could have life on it, right? And so that's the idea, is you go there, Matt Damon realizes, oh shit, this world is a dud. Like, he realizes that probably within a couple hours or minutes even, right? And he's like, oh fuck. So I'm done. It's over. This is the end of the road. And then he, like, I love the part where he's talking about fucking, you know, if you know you're going to die, there's a 100% chance that you're going to die. But if you press a button that says that this planet is habitable, there's that 100% death rate goes to 99% chance you're gonna die. So you push the button. It's your survival instinct or whatever, right? And it's like, can you really blame him for pushing the button? Like, yeah, sure, he fucked everyone over, but also that, like, you know, you put a human in charge. Why not put robot? Why was this even a manned space mission? Why didn't they just do, like, the robots? Why didn't they have, like, the TARS people, like the robot guys? Which, by the way, I love the robots. The robots in this movie are phenomenal. I love the character and the sarcasm and stuff. I think that whole thing, that section of the movie, all the robot stuff is great. But anyway, why not have the robots do it? I don't know. So anyway, Matt Damon presses the button. His possibility of dying goes from 100% to 99%, right? And then there's that scene where, like, Matt Damon and Matthew McConaughey are, like, fighting each other, and they're going like, oh, right? And then Matt Damon starts doing the headbutting, right? Boom, boom, right? And then Matthew McConaughey is like, there's like a 50-50 chance you're going to die. And then Matt Damon's like, that's the best odds I've had all in a long time. You know, because you land on the planet, your chances of death are at 100%. Not good. You don't want to die 100% of the time. 10 out of 10 times dying, not so good. So then his chances of death, right, when he presses the button, go to 99%. Still not so good. But then all of a sudden it's 50-50. Damn, right? Like, so he's willing to take the risk. So anyway, he tries to, like, fucking go back on and, like, hijack their spaceship to go to another world and leave them stranded or whatever and just basically take over the mission. But he fails to, like, get into the spaceship. By the way, like, he sets a bomb or whatever, blows up another main character, but, you know, that was a little sad. But anyway, and so he goes up into the spaceship and then fucks it up. He blows it up because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing and is an idiot, right? So his probability of dying goes from 100% to 99% to 50% or whatever. So far, so good. But then he, just forgot how to fly a plane, and then he blows up the fucking spaceship and kills himself. I loved it, though, because he's on the radio trying to talk to the other characters. And he's like, I love how they style it, because he's like, I'm taking over the mission, I'm gonna save the world or whatever. Like, he's in the middle of starting this grand speech, and then he blows the fuck up. I thought it was great. Like, I thought it was phenomenal, right? So he's like trying to land his little thing in the docking bay on the spaceship, And then he's like, I'm gonna take this mission over. It's all about the mission. We're gonna save humanity. And then he blows the fuck up. It's great. It's wonderful. So then he dies. He's blown the fuck up. So he's dead now. And then so Matthew McConaughey is like, oh fuck, we gotta get into that spaceship. And now because Matt Damon's a fucking moron and he blew up the spaceship, that the one, like the main spaceship is spinning or whatever, right? And that's a plot point. But, you know, Matthew McConaughey is able to land on the spinning spaceship. Who knows how, right? But he did it anyway. And then eventually, you know, so there's 2 characters left. Everyone's dead. The mission's over. You know, it's all a fuck. Meanwhile, by the way, I forgot all of this is happening as, like, the Earth timelines are converging. Like, there's giant dust storms, right? Like, you know, like, a bunch of people are dying, right? Like, you know, it's crazy as shit going on Earth, basically. And so, like, this whole time, like, the thing I love about this movie is, like, it's like a 40-minute climax, right? Like, that whole thing with the ice world, and then, like, when Murphy's on Earth going to the bookshelves or whatever, it's like a 40-minute climax. The music is, like, banging. Like, it's getting louder and louder, and it's like, whoa! And then you're cutting back and forth, and there's explosions, and, like, she's, like, trying to, like, look for books or whatever, and the music is getting louder. I was freaking the fuck out. Now, again, I'm watching this movie on shrooms, right? And now, like, I'm 2 hours into the experience. I'm firmly, like, I'm feeling pretty something. I'm feeling something. And so, you know, okay, so, and I'm strapping the fuck in, because I know I've seen this movie before. So I know that there's, like, a 40-minute climax. Like, the rest of the movie is just going to get more and more and more anxiety-inducing, right? So anyway, Matthew McConaughey goes to he tries to slingshot around the black hole or some stupid space shit, and sends his other teammate to go to the other planet, right, to do the plan B with the fucking embryos or whatever. But then Matthew McConaughey goes into the black hole, because he's like, I don't want to go to this other shit-fuck planet. I'm not interested in this. I want to go see my kids. I don't know what's in the black hole, but, you know, it's probability. It's like, if I go to this other planet to do a colony with a bunch of people I don't care about, there's a 0% chance I'm going to see my kids again. You go in the black hole, who knows, right? So Matthew McConaughey goes in the black hole. Now, again, I'm on drugs watching this movie. And so when he's in the black hole, that shit was crazy. Like, when he's, like touching the other character, but previously in time, too, like, during the fucking bulk or whatever, that part's cool. But, like, the effects, like, the noise was amazing. The music was phenomenal. Now, again, I'm hallucinating at this point. So the movie is, like, it's, you know, the music is in my, it's, you know, I'm feeling it, like, you know, you know. Anyway, so then he wakes up in this, like, fucking 5-dimensional hyperspace, like, bullshit. Right? Or, like, time is, like, is you know, you can walk around in each, like, room, or each wall is, like, its own time period, right? So this part is the coolest part of the movie, in my opinion, right? So then this is when you realize, like, so he's in this, like, hyperdimensional, 5-dimensional realm of some kind, and, like, some abstract future being, it's like in 2001, when they're in the hotel room at the end, right? Like, it's all just a hallucination, but, like, a way for your brain to interpret the information in a way that makes sense to your brain, because we can't perceive 5 dimensions, right? So, like, you know, some outside force is making some construct that is a hallucination in our brain so that we can perceive above dimensional space. So anyway, so he's in this, like, repeating loop, like, tesseract bullshit of, like, bookshelves, and he realizes that every bookshelf is a different moment in time, and then he's seeing, like, oh, this is when I was a kid, or, like, my kid, or I left my kid, or whatever. He's crying. He's like, oh no, right? He's watching, like, his kids grow up through this bookshelf, and I'm losing it, man. I'm telling you, I am losing it. I'm not gonna lie, I was crying several times during this movie. So anyway, so he's, like, doing the bookshelf stuff. The robot is in the quantum verse as well. And the robot is, like, using their data instruments to, like, translate post, like, you know, because the whole point of the movie is on Earth, they don't know what's in a black hole, right? So you can't solve, like, any problems with that. So then Matthew McConaughey is like, all right, we're going to try to send them data of what's inside the black hole, from inside the black hole, from inside, like, the 5-dimensional hyperspace super reality, right? And like, so he like encodes the data on the bookshelf, right? Like, but there's like a watch on the bookshelf, and it's just great. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, it's hard to explain this movie. Like, if you've never seen it, you gotta watch it. This shit's crazy. I mean, it's really fun to watch, especially if you're on drugs. I mean, I cannot overstate how fun this movie is to watch on drugs, and this is why I call it a masterpiece, right? I don't care, like, it, like, this is such a good experience watching a movie like this on drugs, and I say that about Inception too. Like, yeah, watching a movie, okay, it can be fun to watch, but damn, when you watch a movie like this, when you are like tripping the fuck out, it is intense. It is intense. Like, the emotional experience, like, that's the thing about like doing drugs, right? Like, when I do shrooms, like, I experience time dilation, right? So if a 3-hour movie, watching a 3-hour movie on mushrooms feels like I'm watching like a fucking 10-hour movie, right? Because it's so long, right? And like every second feels like it's like 2 seconds, like when you're on shrooms, right? And it's like, so like I am like freaking the fuck out because it's like I feel like I've been watching this movie for like literally like days and days. Like, it's just like I'm here absorbing this experience, right? And then they do like the loop at the start of the movie, right? That's where the loop from the start like to the black hole. It's a perfect synchronous loop, right? And I was losing it when the characters are crying because they're seeing the world end and he's trying to like save his kid or whatever. I was losing it. I was very emotional, let me tell you. So anyway, then he solves the problem, like his daughter like finds the data and then solves the problem in the world, and then he wakes up in the future and sees his like 98-year-old kid because of like relativity or whatever. So his 98-year-old kid is dying, right? And so he goes in, says hello to the kid. Now this scene was weird. I have to say the ending is a little strange, I must say. So, okay, so he sees his dying child, who's 98 years old, right? She's just dying of natural causes, I guess. And her entire family, right? Because I guess she saved the world or whatever, and had a family. She has a large family. So Matthew McConaughey goes in there, and no one in the family is, oh, hey, grandpa, great-grandpa, oh, you saved the world. So he walks up to the kid, Murph, right? And they have, like, a small conversation. It's like, okay, that's great. I was tearing up during that too. And then Murphy's like, all right, get the fuck out. I'm going to spend time with my real family. And it's like, what? That's crazy. Like, I don't know. Like, he did so much bullshit to save the world. And you get like a 2-minute conversation, like, come on. That's insane. And that no one else was reacting. They're like, okay, Anyway, this movie is great. I can't heap enough praise on it. I'm a huge fan of the Nolan verse. This movie and Inception, in my opinion, are must-watches. If you... And again, I don't recommend anyone do drugs because they're illegal and they're bad. And if you do drugs, you're going to go insane for the rest of your life. It's just, you do drugs immediately and then you turn into this. Right? You don't want to turn into this. But if you are going to turn into this, like you're on the train, right? And it's not going to stop. And you are going to turn into this, I recommend watching a movie like this on shrooms. Unless, you're a sane person that doesn't need drugs to feel good or what. I don't know, man. I just, I have to say this shit. But anyway, it's when you're watching a movie like this on shrooms, I can't recommend it enough because it's 3 hours and it's like, it feels like it's a 10-hour experience. I get so attached to the characters, right? And then like the fucking effects are great. The tidal wave, the tsunami bullshit. Oh, it's just all so fucking good. Oh, it's just too good. So I had no idea. Apparently people in the chat are telling me people don't like this movie. Anyone who doesn't like this movie, I'm willing to say if you don't like this movie, you have a low IQ. And I don't know, like, is that fair for me, right? Is that okay that I'm saying that? Maybe. I don't know, but if you don't like Interstellar, you have a low IQ. You're a stupid fucking moron. Like, I don't, like, it's that simple. It's just, I don't need to explain it. Like, you are a complete fucking dumbass. Like, oh, I don't like the movie, it's too long. Right? Oh, I don't like the movie because of this and that. You were disappointed by the end. Sinkhole, what the fuck? You got a goddamn low IQ. That's like a disease. Like, you should see a fucking doctor. I don't...
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
I don't know what to say. What the ending is amazing. Now again, it's a little weird, right? Like with the kid in the deathbed, and the kid's like, "Oh, hi, Dad. By the way, I'm dying, so get the fuck out." Right? That part's a little weird. But the black hole quantum verse, oh, I'm in. I'm all the way in. Oh, it's such a good movie. It's so good. It really is. It's a phenomenal film. And I forgot to mention John Lithgow's character. I love his character at the start of the movie where he's just like the cantankerous old grandpa. I love it. I love his character. Just throwing that in there. I should have said that earlier. But damn. Damn right I'm ableist and I'm proud. I am a proud ableist. If you don't like Interstellar, you're a fucking idiot. Quote me on that. Clip me out of context, motherfucker. If you do not like this movie, 1, you have a low IQ. 2, go fuck yourself. 3, you're a dumbass. I don't know what else I need to say. Oh, it's so good. It's such a good movie. What streaming platform did you watch it on? It's on nothing that I could find that I have, so I ended up renting it for a couple bucks. Okay, Sinkwell says, there are so many cool concepts, enjoyed the fourth dimension, just felt like the whole family story was hokey. I'm telling you right now, I love the characters in this movie. I don't know if it's the drugs. I don't know if it's the mushrooms. I was crying. I was crying my eyes out, like, at a couple moments. Like, I'm telling you, like, that part after the water world where he's watching his kids age up, I was losing it. I was crying. Like, the end when he's in the... I was very attached to the characters. But that's probably because I was on the drugs. And that's why I say, like, a movie like this is going to be so much better on drugs. I can't... It's going to be worse, actually, because drugs are bad for you. And they're actually really bad for you. And it's going to turn you into this. So you don't want to turn into this. Right now, imagine... Hold up. I'm going to do the combination here. Okay, so hold up. We're going to put the fucking weird glasses on top of the sunglasses. That's right. Oh my god. This should not even be allowed. I feel like I'm going to have to go to the hospital. Okay, let's turn these on too. Yep. Now this is what the world really looks like. Anyway. It's a good movie. And if you don't like it, fuck you.